Shalom, Rosh Tiferet Habarim. Hello, Rastafari friends. Greetings and welcome, guests, friends, visitors, family members, and all honorable guests, friends, visitors, and all of you. A good, strong 7 days, good first day, and be strong and be blessed. And Melkam Ahud, good first day. Melkam Samint, good 7 days. And Izot, be strong. Be strong. Huh. Okay, that having been said, basically, how do you have a good day every day? How do we have a good 7 days every 7 days? How do we have a Shavua Tov every Shavua? How do we always have a good day? And this in accordance with God's will. How do we have, right? Listen, I know how. I'm going to show you how. How do you have a good 7 days? How do you have good 6 days of creation in accordance with God's will, a good day of rest in accordance with God's will, good high holy days or Shabbatons, like whatever it may be, Pesach, Passover, Shavuot, first fruits, Sukkot, tabernacles, the 3 pilgrim feasts? How do you have those good? How do you have the Shemitah year good? How do you have the Jubilee year good? How do you have everything good as it is divinely ordained and predestined and supposed to be? Even as a Torah observant Yehudi, or as any person from any nation whatsoever who is somewhat righteous and piously inclined, keep listening. The way is this: you have to have divine wisdom, retain it, and work and rest with it, and benefit with it. It's very simple. One has to actually understand the fact that the universe that we live in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, and Reshis Hokmah, in the beginning, wisdom. The Creator utilized His wisdom, and still is utilizing it, actually. Baruch Hashem, blessed be the name, or in His universe and in creation. And every one of us human beings, we all exist in the same actual universal system that the Creator designed and has operating, and that's good. It's very good. And a large part of that is actually the cyclical system of life, how life is cyclical. There are hakafot, right? Cycles of life. So I'm going to give a quick summary of them. And this actually applies to every person. It doesn't matter who you are, regardless of so-called race, religion, creed, national origin, ethnicity. It's the same for everybody. Just like if you're a human being alive today, right? Generally speaking, the sun rises in the east, sets in the west, right? There's a heavens above us, there's an earth plane beneath us, and we breathe air in and out, right? There's a system, there's basic laws of nature, and there's a basic order in creation and how it works. And that's it. It's the same. These are natural laws. I'm talking about natural law and universally, operationally successful, right, life science and facts here. These are real facts. This is reality. Welcome to reality, my friends, guests, visitors, family members, and all viewers, right? You're looking at reality now. And the fact is that, and this is a good reality too, it's a good one. It's the type of reality that you should see and comprehend and actually understand, because if you do, your life becomes magnificent. It becomes very, very good, okay? And so be it. So it is. So shall it be. Okay, the key is that every human being, and also every human being everywhere, wow, So the reality is that every human being, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, what your name is, etc., based on the way that the universe is structured and operates, there is a thing called the cycles of life. Every human being has cycles of life. It's generally the case, and we see this even on the most basic levels, that most humans, generally it goes up somewhere around 100 years or something, okay? The fact is that the human simple overall period of human life ranges from 0 to 144 years. Then every person has a soul personality based on their birthday. Generally, information therefrom provides one with a guidance so as to be able to intelligently and properly choose what things to sort of focus on in life, in business life, personal life, and health life, and what things to avoid, right? Everyone has certain strengths and certain things they should and certain things they shouldn't. Okay. Now remember, the simple overall period of human life of 144 years maximum, physical earthly existence, apparently and evidently, it is structured into equal 7-year segments, right? From 0 to 144. Every 7-year segment is a little different, okay? Now, then there's an annual life cycle period of 365 days. This starts on your birthday. Every person's annual life cycle period starts on their birthday when they're born. And it goes for 365 days. That's a solar year. And this is the annual life cycle period, right? The simple annual period of human life of 365 days. It is divided into 7 segments of 52 days. And every one of these 7 segments of 52 days, during every one of these segments of 52 days, right, it's particularly good for you to engage in certain things in personal life, business life, and health life. And at the same time, the opposite, okay? So then you've got the always alternating long lunar unit of 3.5 days. That always changes between negative and positive. And then you've got the 3-hour short lunar unit that constantly alternates between positive and negative, or negative and positive. And then you've got the simple overall periods, the simple daily periods of human life. They're 3 hours and 25 minutes in length, and there are 7 of them a day. And 7 days makes a strong, or a samint, or a shavua, like a good, strong 7, hopefully. So now you have this basic wisdom and overview of life and how it actually works. And listen, what I'm sharing right now is actually universally applicable to all human beings. It's no different than me telling you that, look, at the ocean, there's a time when there's a high tide and there's a low tide. And in life, generally, there's a time when, and actually universally, there's a time when there's daytime, right, and you can see, and there's a time when it's the dark hours and it's more difficult to see. There's a natural system and order, and there are natural laws that are operating and that are making life good, even very good. And so shall it be, right? So the thing is that having an understanding of the cycles of life is prerequisite to actually even living life properly, right? Because, see, listen, I could go into detail about this, perhaps I will for a second. All of the universe operates according to God's wisdom and His will. So our lives have to be guided by divine will and wisdom. Okay. The thing is that the world, apparently, and predominantly though, a lot of it is sort of existing in a state where it's, there are varying levels of wisdom that people have. And you can see this. So what I'm seeking to say is that the world that we exist in nowadays, apparently, to a very large degree actually, is sort of in a state of something like imperfection or could be better, and it's because of the levels of wisdom that different people have in different areas of life and all over. So what happens is that you start to see that nothing is random, nothing is left to chance. Life is no longer such a mystery. It is a beautiful surprise, and it's good, and it's divinely surprising, yet it's no longer a total mystery, right? Listen, to live as a magi and a seer, right? As a master of your life and your destiny. To have real divine wisdom and practically apply it and live and work and rest with it and live good all the time. That is how it's supposed to be, and it gets better and better every day. Okay, the truth is that the complete and total universe, all of God's creation, including every human being and every human life, and all of life is ordered and operates according to a cyclical system. We have insight into this system. To comprehend that, have knowledge of that, right? Monitor the cycles of life that you're in, live in harmony with them. It makes everything the best that it can be. And that can be the case permanently, okay? It's actually possible to live a life that is only good. It's possible. You just have to have discipline. Because there's always a certain time for certain things where good things happen and can happen, and you can make them happen, and the opposite. It's just like being prudent. It's no different than going for a walk in the forest, a beautiful walk in the forest during the day when you can see, so you can see all the beauty, right? And you can also see the obstacles and the pitfalls and whatever it is, versus walking through the forest in pitch darkness where it's like you can see the moon and the stars and it's, the air smells like pine trees, it smells fresh, yet there's like stumbling blocks, there's pitfalls, there's wild animals, there's trees sticking out, branches sticking out, like it's dangerous. Some of it's good, but it's really dangerous. Okay, you have to live as a magi and a seer and as a master of your life and your destiny, for heaven's sake, everybody. Because that's the only way to live. See, the ignorant or like unilluminated or living as a human being with lack of knowledge or wisdom, comparable. See, when I say ignorant or lack of knowledge, it's only because it's compared to having enlightenment and knowledge and being enlightened. It's like comparing, it's like comparing somebody who has gone through basic training with the highest level special forces operator or whatever they are, or whatever they're classified as. Like this is comparable to somebody who's gone through basic training and somebody who's a veteran with, decorated with all the amount of medals that one can attain, and like the highest, service record or most battles won, whatever the case may be. It's just that there are things, there's a system to life that we have to learn about and understand and live with, and if we do this, it's really good. And it's to the benefit of all, okay? The problem is that nowadays, this was also said in different places, that most of the problems of our time are actually because of lack of knowledge or lack of wisdom. Creation was created perfectly. It has the potential to be that way. That's how it mostly is, though it could be better in a lot of places. A lot of lives could be better, and they have the potential to be the best. You have to have respect to the Creator, follow divine instruction to a certain degree, and have God's wisdom and live with it. And you're good to go, and it's good. Everything's good for you. It's great. Okay? It's actually true. The problem is, we live in a day and age where, and it's actually not a problem, it's just that it's like looking at an orchard. These trees are ripe, healthy, they're bearing good fruits. These trees are saplings. They're just growing, okay? There's different stages, different levels here. The thing is that every human being has to know this, though. You have to learn this because it's to your benefit. It's like science, natural law. The more we know, the better. Now, nowadays, and in most places, people may or may not know most of this. And that's the problem. See, if we really would like to change the world and determine the destiny even of humanity into a good way, to a good thing, to a good future, right? World peace, collective security, the realization and fulfillment of God's will, just a good overall state of existence, right? The best things that could be accomplished for humanity, these things could certainly be accomplished with certain amounts of wisdom being certainly and accurately applied, and living prudently equals the ability to actually manifest and bring about the best things that can happen in life. There's a major difference between living in the majority of humans, according to my observation so far, the majority of humans, and even I have the benefit of having learnt this from my earthly father, rest in peace, and then later from my rabbi, double honors, right? And so on. Yet, look, most of the humans alive today, most of them, and hopefully now this will change, become masters of your life and your destiny legitimately, right? Listen to what I'm saying. It'll benefit you massively, eternally. Most humans alive today actually live their lives in a state where they're somewhat in harmony with the cycles of life. So they're like apparently, as it looks to me, the way that it looks to me, apparently to me, it looks like most humans alive today live in a way that, like, some of the time it's good, and there's also a lot of risk all the time. In other words, it's like a person riding a bicycle where they're almost, like they're riding it for a while, but then they're almost crashing, and maybe even, heaven forbid, versus somebody who's like a bicycle racer and could go 1,000 miles without an accident safely, see the whole entire panorama, and set a world record, and is completely unscathed. And like the difference between Superman and, I don't know, Ant-Man or something like that. Like the difference between miracles and disasters, all of this is defined by wisdom and how you live it out. So, okay, most humans appear to live their lives in a way that is somewhat in harmony with the cycles of life, yet is beset with a lot of uncertainty and a lot of potential for either miracles or disasters, and the outcome generally and predominantly being somewhat randomly determined by themselves because of varying degrees of knowledge and knowing or not knowing, okay? So, like, okay, a scientist, no, listen, somebody who's a chef, right, who's a good cook, he knows that if he combines these ingredients a certain way, it'll really be tasty and it will really be good to eat, okay? Somebody else who didn't train as a chef or whatever, as a chef, knows this too by experience and like kind of logic, okay? Other person might discover this randomly and it might work, where really what you have to be is, you got to have life be the best that it can be and live as a master. And that's why I'm sharing this now, because I know this, I do this, and so should you. Really, we have to have wisdom. I'm going to go for the ideal, optimized, objective here. Get wisdom. With all that getting, get understanding. The beginning of wisdom is a fear of God, okay? So wisdom is a principal thing, therefore get wisdom. With all that getting, get understanding, all right? So you have to have this. Now you have it. And reshare it, for heaven's sake, okay? Listen, the human being, right? Every one of us, doesn't matter who it is, we all exist in the same creation or the same universe that operates according to a certain pattern, that if we can see this pattern, and we can, it's the cycles of life. Monitor this thing, the life cycles. Monitor the cycles of life that you're in. Pay attention to the pattern and move in harmony with it, according to it, as much as possible, and your life is absolutely magnificent, and it's the best that it can possibly be. And this goes on all the time. And this includes, yet is not limited to, having something like permanent, eternal life insurance and safety and health and wealth and prosperity guaranteed. This is a serious thing we're talking about. It could be described as simply as this. It's like a person who knows that if they go sailing when the weather is good, it's smooth sailing and it's a beautiful day. Versus somebody who goes out and doesn't pay attention to a level 5 storm and goes sailing. It's a totally different experience. It's because of having wisdom and prudence and practically applying wisdom in our lives that we benefit. And this is, of course, coming from God's blessing, though, initially. Divine providence, right? So the key is you have to pay attention to God's law and wisdom and be guided thereby. It's easier than it sounds. The key, though, is that, see, one has to have a basic overview of how life actually works to even be able to live life properly. And that's why I'm explaining this. Now, this is applicable to any and every human. Some of the things that happen with wisdom are very magnificent. For example, we actually have the ability to basically comprehend everything there is, to know everything about why everything is how it is, like pretty much all the time on an ongoing basis, and increasingly and gradually. And also, we can accurately predict the future and accurately predict a potential reaction to a potential future action. And we can also foresee the results, or like what will happen in the future in terms of, for example, I look at the news, I see it, I see what they're talking about and what's going on, and then I know what's going to happen, and 3 days later I see what happened, and it was exactly what I thought was going to happen, based on knowledge of natural law and life science, okay? This has been going on for years now. So the overall key is divine blessing, wisdom, having it and working and resting with it. And if you do this, everything is just magnificent. There's so many details about this, yet generally speaking, right, there's this astonishing fact, and it's a fact, and I've observed this, so interesting, that look at the world, right, how it is, right? You start to see that nothing is random, nothing is left to chance. There's a system whereby everything operates. And seeing and comprehending and having insight into this makes it possible so that you can basically completely comprehend anything and everything you seek to comprehend, anything that goes on with yourself or with the world around you. You know why. You know how to make it like this or like that. You know how to determine the future, right? And it goes on in that we start to see that every problem the world has, everything that's forbidden, etc., is A, completely out of place, wasn't even intended to be so in God's plan, and is unnecessary, and could be avoided. And the right and the good and whatever is legit and whatever is like mutually beneficent or a good thing, that can happen to all humanity, right? So the complete and total earth should be filled with with the knowledge of God and His wisdom. And the thing is, every human can benefit from this. It becomes particularly interesting when we start to look at ideas and truths and logic from the Holy Torah, the Holy Law, or from things that are within the Torah observant life or within what the world calls Judaism, and how a lot of like basic instructions, even such things like wisdom is a principal thing or wisdom is my sister, those are like basic verses from the Holy Bible, right? Or the idea of, or what's written, wisdom is a principal thing, therefore get wisdom, and with all that getting, get understanding, right? These basic instructions are like the key and initial motivators that lead to the attainment of the most valuable and the most magnificent things and also skill sets in terms of God's blessing, in terms of wisdom, right? With wisdom, you can actually accomplish the Creator's will. Live eternally, happily, blessed, wealthy, healthy, good, very good, right? And once again, it's as simple as that there's an operating system whereby the entire universe operates. This heavens and earth plane, us, the world around us, positive, negative, male, female, high tide, low tide, new moon, full moon, up, vice versa, etc. All of this, right? The complete total thing, all of this, all of it is governed by a system, and we have insight into this system, and we can operate with this system. And it's like the greatest skill there is. It's mastery, self-mastery, the ability to master your life and your destiny. What is a master? A master is somebody who's not a victim of fate or like susceptible or like unnecessarily subject to any like apparently unknown or mysterious factors, unnecessary obstacles or imperfections whatsoever. Rather, a master is somebody who has divine blessing, wisdom, practically applies it, lives with it, benefits with it, to accomplish good for himself, to serve God, to serve others, and to accomplish the highest good overall. And this is somebody who can determine their life and their destiny, who can live in absolute peace, tranquility, blessedness, serenity, health, wealth, just the most magnificent possible state of existence, and maintain that automatically. Somebody who can accurately foresee the future and even make it a certain way, right? And even somebody who can accomplish things that are classifiable as miracles because of divine support and wisdom and skill, okay? It's a serious thing we're talking about. It's the ultimate way to live as a master of your life and your destiny. It's not sufficient to live a sort of like kind of a somewhat enlightened and then generally though also very sort of a random existence where some of it's magical and some of it's unknown. Look, life is still a beautiful divine surprise. That we have a basic overview of life and how it works. And I'm 101 accurate with it every time. Okay, in terms of that, I know I can actually accurately predict the future. I can predict accurately, right? Predict a potential reaction to a future action, okay? And even determine it and make it a certain way, okay? It's a serious thing. Because, why? Because you know the laws of nature. So, look, what we start to see is that the destiny of humanity is not random. It's not left to chance. What is going to become of all of this? Us, everyone, humanity, right? World peace, collective security, God's will being made real. What's going to happen? You know, world peace, etc., collective security, the good aims and objectives and main principles and goals of the United Nations even. God's will being made manifest in terms of basically like the world to come, heaven on earth, the Olam Haba, the world to come, right? Even how to make a Tikkun Olam, to repair the world, all this stuff. How is this even going to happen? And then how do we even make it happen that way? That the Creator dictates it or says it should be. It's all possible with God's wisdom. With His wisdom, it's possible. You can completely reform the world, re-yetzer the world in accordance with the Creator's will. Perform an overall tikkun even. You can even repair the entire world with God's wisdom. So, how does one actually accomplish this? It's very simple. Basically, a little bit of book work, a little bit of calendar writing. You simply have to monitor the cycles of life that you're in. Then you see the potential that's available for what to be accomplished and what's universally, automatically, divinely supported and expedited within the different cycles of life that you're in. Every one of us, listen, another key factor, every one of us that exists right now is in, so at any given point in time, every one of us is in a combination the state that we're in right now, like I myself, for example, right now, or you, the viewer, at any given point in time, any one of us humans is existing in and is in a combination of about 9 different cycles of life that result in a certain pitching or a quality programming of life and creation and what is how it is and what can happen and what can't, basically. Because the key is that, listen quickly. So every 3 hours, the short lunar unit changes. Every 3 hours and 25 minutes, the daily period of the cycles of life changes. Every 3.5 days, the long lunar unit changes. Every 52 days, the annual life cycle period changes. Every 7 years, the simple overall period of human life changes. And this goes on for 144 years, and during all of that, you have your soul personality with certain strengths and things you should go toward and work on and things you should avoid. Now, what really is happening is that, like, the way that the world, the universe is, and what it can become like and what it can't, is constantly being defined by the life cycles that every one of us is in individually. For example, I'll give you an overview of this. Right now, for about another 2 hours, right here, right now, it's a neutral short lunar unit. Okay, then it's a negative 3.5 day long lunar unit for another like 3 days. Okay, then I've got the annual life cycle period of 52 days that I'm in for the next 50 days or something, 40 days. Then I've got the next couple years till I'm 42, so 4 more years in the 6 simple overall period of human life, etc., etc. You have a systematic overview of the state that you're in, the life cycles that you're in, and by knowing the description of what the life cycles that you're in are good for, you utilize the life cycles for what they're good for, and good things manifest. Now, I have to refer you to a book. It's called Self-Mastery and Fate with the Cycles of Life. There's a free PDF on the internet. Thank you to the Ancient Mystical Order of the Rosy Cross for publishing that. And the Holy Torah, the Holy Bible, right? Get a copy, read, study, and apply what's written therein. Everything that I've talked about, a lot of it in terms of the cycles of life, is all explained in the book. Get a copy, read and study it, and